Welcome back. This is your host, Noura Almasri, and this is Echoes of Impact with Noura. We're still talking about leadership, but now we cannot talk about any topics almost without addressing the AI. A lot of people are afraid to lose their job because of AI now can do a lot of things, especially for some positions like contents. Well, maybe some people agree or disagree with any of this topic, like, oh, no one AI cannot do the job of the person or the human, but there is a fact, there is AI coming up, and a lot of people might lose their job, or at least they are afraid to lose their job, including leaders. So Dr. Maria, like, what would you say? Like, would you say AI would affect the work opportunities out there, or the leadership type? What's your thought about that?
I love this topic. I love this topic. It's such an important topic for leaders. And so really there's recently been some layoffs and the company had said it was specifically at Workday and they said we had to lay them off because of AI. So I don't exactly know all the details, but the thing is as a leader, when you're thinking about AI, is you have to continuously keep up to date on what's happening in AI. So it's a term called learning agility. So you have to pick and choose where you want to focus on what you need to learn about AI related to your field, related to jobs in your area. So that's a really important point to look at and work with AI. I mean, one example would be is some people just immediately say AI and chat GPT, but there are probably hundreds of different AI programs to test and look at. And it's important to know, what could be impacting your industry in AI.
So you mentioned learning agility. So what does it mean? I know, like, some people are like, okay, what is this learning agility? Is it just to keep learning, or what do you mean with learning agility?
So it is to keep learning, but then also it is a response to change too. It's
Mm.
how you kind of move through change and you have to learn new processes. So maybe there's a software change, you need to be open to learn that. Maybe there's a huge shift because of AI, you have to be ready and be willing to learn. So it's always good to keep track of how you're learning and who's reading often what's happening and hot in your industry area, paying attention to AI. And there is two other terms that I'll add is upskilling and reskilling. And so upskilling is building upon your talents that you have already, or yes. And then reskilling is changing directions. So then you're adding a brand new skill. So there's lots of ways to do that. There's lots of ways and free ways. So it's not something you have to run out and pay for because there's learning everywhere.
Mhm. Absolutely. So who's responsible for the learning agility? Would it be the leader, like responsible for how do they learn or what they learn, and to direct their team on what should they learn, or would it be everyone responsibility to do that?
I think anybody in managing their own career, uh, they need to figure out what they want to learn and how they want to keep learning. I
Mhm.
also think that it's important for organizations to have a perspective of a continuous learning culture. So it's okay to learn. It's not scary that people are leaving because they're learning. I mean,
Mhm.
there's, just around the AI piece that there's lots of free learning that people can do. And I know for myself, I'm trying to take a prompt engineering class right now for AI, so I
Wow.
know how to better use AI. And so, so I guess back to your original question, I think you have to take a look at for yourself and where you want to take your career and maybe if you want to even switch directions, but also the organization should foster learning,
Mhm.
but there's a lot of it out there. So a lot of free learning on different platforms where universities like the prompt engineering class that I'm in is from Vanderbilt and it's free. So gotta love that.
Nice. So as an organization, how should organizations, especially small businesses, like where you don't have tons of budget, you don't have a lot of budget, maybe you don't even have enough time. So what would you say the most effective way to really give a direction to employee and make it available to them, tell them, hey, for your type of job, maybe you want to focus on this. And I understand sometimes like you don't want to be as a leader to tell them what to learn. They should know. But also sometimes not every position they will know. Like some positions, some people like they want you to tell them and they need that
Yeah,
direction. So what's the most effective way? And how do you make sure people are really taking those steps of learning?
that's a lot in that question. I
Answer
think
the
I
way you
think
want.
I think for myself is, I mean, I think a very good tool is LinkedIn. And
Mhm.
so if you can find a couple of voices of people that are kind of researching or leading the way in a certain topic area, it's not a lot of learning where you're investing hours and hours. It's maybe reading an article every once in a while. So that's one way. And that's actually how I've learned a lot about the AI, is following certain people that are testing everything. So so then I know there's more than Chat GPT. There's Claude and all the others. So that's one way, is to kind of help somebody along the way of how to become a lifelong learner. And then as far as companies, and specifically small business, just taking a look around at what's to lower the cost, taking a look around at what's happening with different associations around the area, because those are usually more accessible cost wise. So there could be a specific professional association chapter that maybe they're having a good speaker that they could go and see. That wouldn't be as expensive as having something designed fully for the company. So but it is about encouraging people not to stop doing their job, but just to have something like even asking them and having the conversation. What are you interested in learning more about this field or your position or how you work? And helping them together talk through what might be a learning plan.
Nice. I know like conferences sometimes can be a very great tool to learn, especially the latest in any industry. So would you say like who an organization should send to learn more? Like mostly in small businesses, I would say like the owner itself, but sometimes like it wouldn't be the owner. Like how can you really make sure the person that you are sending is going to really attend, really get the value that you want out of that investment that the business is doing.
So I think it is talking a little bit about how you work with your one-on-ones.
Mhm,
So and then goals that people have set for the year. So I know for myself, some organizations I've been in, they've had a requirement on our performance review that we did take a technology class. So we
mhm.
were constantly staying up to date on technology. So, and then some of it is sometimes people are burnt out in their positions. And so sometimes you may want to have a conversation and say, hey, how is this position going for you? Because maybe they could be more effective in another area, and then they can learn and go that direction. So then you're not having to hire a different employee. You can hold on to a good employee, just maybe job craft a little differently.
That's awesome. So before we leave, I want to make sure like we tell people how can they find you and what can they you offer for business owners.
Oh, yes, yes. So I have a website, docmaria.com. And so there's a lot of information there. I'm also on LinkedIn. You could find me there, and Instagram. And so what I offer is I offer executive coaching, leadership coaching, trainings, speaking, special engagements. And then I have a really great class called Positive Intelligence, where people learn more about emotional intelligence and change their mindset. So, and some public events. So that's how you find me on docmaria.com or info@docmaria.com. I would love to hear from you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Maria. This was an awesome episode. Like we'll definitely learned a lot from you. And guys, you want to make sure you visit Dr. Maria's website. Again, go to docmaria.com and see the amazing things that she offers and engage with her connect with her to bring your value for your employees, to be coached yourself as an executive and leader, or have her speak at your next event. She's amazing, and you don't want to miss that. She's very sincere. And the program she mentioned, the Positive Intelligence, I did join myself, and it's an amazing program. I got a lot of value of that program. I learned things that I didn't think of. I'm not going to tell you a lot about it because you got to join that program. It's just 6 weeks, right, Dr. Maria?
Yes.
6 weeks, yeah. And you're going to learn a lot in that program. So you can be anywhere in the US or anywhere in the world. Just connect with Dr. Maria and she's going to help you join. But now we came to the end of this episode. I can't wait to see you next time. But before you go, make sure you connect with me at hello@echoesofimpact.net, hello@echoesofimpact.net. Tell me if you would like to be on the show. Tell me if you want me to discuss something in specific you are looking to see on the show. I would love to hear from you. I would love to have the guest that can ask you or can answer your questions. So again, email me at hello@echoesofimpact.net. This is your host, Noura Almasri. Until next time, keep making an impact.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.